G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the south side of the map, in the colour orange, playing as the Abbasid dynasty, we've got the Kid, aka Voldemar. And on the north side of the map, in the colour teal, playing as the Chinese, we've got Debu, aka Baldimus Maximus. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hill and Dale. We've got ourselves quite the matchup today. Two civilizations that do incredibly well whenever they get a little bit of space. And of course, this map loves to give each of the players plenty of space. And I tell you what, if you like space, I mean, some of my segues are just absolutely terrible, but when I see that subscribe button pop up, I know I got to try and segue whatever it is that I'm saying into the subscribe thing. So anyway, instead of my terrible segue, how about you just go ahead and like the video if you enjoy Age of Empires 4 content, and make sure you subscribed if you're not already. But let's get into this matchup. Let's talk about this match, and let's talk about the rise of the Kid. Now, you guys may or may not be familiar with our player on the south side of the map. For those of you who are familiar, well, you guys can just go to sleep for the next minute or so while I rave about this guy. All right, so let me put this into perspective for you. There's this guy. He's sitting in Gold League, and he's playing Age of Empires 4 occasionally. He plays with his friends on the weekends. Maybe sometimes he plays a little bit of 1v1, but he never really takes it too seriously. Then all of a sudden he says, you know what? I am going to start taking it seriously. He actively tries to get better. And almost within a month, he's Conqueror. Within 3 months, he's Conqueror 3. And now he sits within the top 30 and begins to challenge the old guard. I'm talking about your beasties, I'm talking about your Marine Lords, and I'm talking about your Demus. And that's exactly what we get to witness today, the rise of the Kid. Of course, we've seen the star rise very high into the sky before. The question's going to be, how well does he stack up against one of the pros? Of course, that being Demu. Now, I'll leave a link in the description to where you can catch both of these guys live over on Twitch, because they both stream over there. I watch both of them playing Age of Empires 4 all the time. And I tell you what, it's so entertaining getting to watch them live. So make sure you go check them out. Let's talk a little bit about Demu, because of course, Demu, he's one of those, I guess he's a bit of a pillar in the RTS community. If you're not familiar with him, geez, which rock have you been sleeping under? And I mean, Timon and Pumbaa and I will happily come and assist you with any of those bloody bugs. You know why I say Timon and Pumbaa? Because it's just been on my head lately. My little boy, he's just gotten into the Lion King. Oh my lord, he loves animals. So he's got this book, and there's a lion on the front, and it's I can't remember the name of it, but I'm pretty sure it's called That's Not My Lion. And anyway, it's this book, and he always brings me the book, and he's like, Dad, let's read the book. He doesn't say that, but he puts the book in my hand, and he's very clearly telling me, let's read the book. So he loves lions, he loves the Lion King, and, well, I don't know why we're on that topic, but anyway, there you go. He can't wait to be king. And, well, I mean, it's somewhat, it's somewhat reminiscent of our earlier discussion regarding the Kid, who just can't wait to be king. But Kid, one day, you'll get there. You got plenty of EGC events that are going to be on the horizon, so as long as you keep practicing, I expect great things as we begin to see the economic wing coming out from him. I think this is pretty standard considering the map. Obviously, military wing has been a flavor of the last month or two, flavor of the patch, flavor of the season even. It's been quite popular. But the economic wing makes sense here because you've already got that safety, and not only have you got that safety in the cliffs of this map, but you've got that safety in the matchup as well. This is a matchup I really enjoy from the Chinese perspective. For me, it really is up to how the Abbasid wants to play this matchup as to whether the Chinese player looks to make units or what it is that they look to do, because there's a couple of ways that you can go about this playing as the Chinese here for Demu. So number one is that he can just look to go for your standard Chinese play. I'm talking 2 town centers, the Song Dynasty, the fast castle, absolutely everything that we're always used to seeing from the Chinese. And on a map like this, it makes a lot of sense. However, there is another option that works particularly well against the Abbasid dynasty, and that is the Zhuge-Nu. The Zhuge-Nu is incredibly good against all the Abbasid dynasty units in the feudal age. Everything that they've got that they can throw at you, nothing can deal with the Zhuge-Nu. And it's because of that there's a part of me that actually likes going into Zhuge-Nu, even just as a... basically, like, you just go into the 2 TCs, go into the Song Dynasty, and then just follow it straight up with your just immediately with Zhugunu, because that way it protects you. Number one, it protects you in the event that the enemy does try and do any sneaky shenanigans, and number two, if they don't try and do sneaky shenanigans, it allows you to punish them. But these guys are good players, and I would suspect if we saw Demu looking to put down any kind of archery range, that immediately the kid would respond with his own stable. Now, one interesting thing to note is that we don't have a Barbican down just yet. But what we do actually see is villagers beginning to move across the map in a very aggressive manner. Noting the fact that Demu is also getting the textiles upgrade, I suspect we may be in for a Barbican rush. It is not dead, ladies and gentlemen. The king is still alive. And speaking of kings being alive, look at this. Kid is trying his best to race up this town center. Look at the amount of villagers he pulls to this. 17 TCs here. He's going to try and get the TC up so that the TC can snipe out any of the villagers here. I don't know whether he's going to have the range on it, but boy, oh boy, are we going to find out right here. I think worst case scenario is that the villagers just move to this corner, and that's exactly what we see Demu doing here. He's going to look to try and get this one up. I reckon the kid may get a couple of villagers, and you can see Demo just trying to back himself away here. Wood or lumber camp already coming up. 10 vills inside, and it looks like the first of the vills will fall down. Oh my lord, does he actually have the spacing on this? He does indeed. He takes a second villager out. Barbican gets cancelled, and the kid stays strong, stays steadfast, and most importantly, stays safely away from the threat of that Barbican. That Barbican will not threaten this town center on the backside. You'll be able to rally your villagers out the back, and look, we got ourselves like a little bit of a classic race right now. The outpost versus the Barbican. Looks like the kid is going to be trying to get a couple more sneaky villager kills here. He's going to have to garrison into the outpost, try and deny out those villagers. In the meantime, let's see if he's able to find it. 5 vills jump in. First one takes a little bit of damage. He's got that textile upgrade. Will he be able to find the third villager kill? He will indeed, but it means that he may lose one villager himself. There's the first one going down. Second one could be inside. Look at the range on that Barbican. My lord, how is it firing that far? Did you see that range? That is not 8 range. What is it? What is that range? It is 8 tiles of range. My gosh. I tell you what. Oh, I was going to say a joke about inches just then, but look, I'll probably leave it for another time. Outpost, chop through, coming in right now. Kid looking to prevent any kind of silly shenanigans. The outpost is already up. You can see that he's going to begin garrisoning at the back here. Vills have broken through, and already we've got aggression coming out early on. Cancel comes through on that palisade wall. Keep in mind the kid, at the moment, currently sits on those 2 TCs. He is booming. He does have the cheaper villagers. Not yet researched that fresh foodstuffs, and the push through does come in. Gold is going to be isolated here. He may have to think about moving towards his gold in the north. Outpost comes up, and Demu, it's alive, it's well. It is the tower rush, baby. It is the Chinese, and it is every sneaky little thing that we would expect coming out from such a top-level player. I tell you what, it's so exciting getting to watch Demi play because, I mean, he's always just got a bag of tricks right here. And let's check in with how he's doing back home. We'll ride on board with him for a little bit because at the moment, we do see he's got villagers on gold still got villagers on stone, so does have the opportunity, does have the option for a second town center when the opportunity shows itself, and we can see villagers beginning to move out. You're going to be so careful against these Chinese outposts because they do have that hand cannon slit. Do a little bit of extra damage to your villagers, and as a result, it means that they may two-shot them if you don't have that armor upgrade, and we can see he doesn't have the armor upgrade, but he does have an archer. Now, isn't it kind of ironic that we were talking about how he didn't need the military wing earlier on in this game? We were quite literally saying he doesn't need it at all, just simply because it's a map where you've got that safety of the cliffs together with the fact you're up against the Chinese, not a particularly aggressive matchup, and of course today, you know, it's the caster curse. We're rewarded with aggression. Villager will go down here. It's 1 versus 5 at the moment. The kid taking out 5 of those Chinese villagers. He's going to start losing out on these units, though. You can see the archer trying to tee off towards these units, having not a lot of luck. With the outpost coming up, it means that he'll be able to isolate even more of these deer carcasses, and further resources from the kid will no longer be available as the outpost does get garrisoned. You can see it looks like the scout will go down as well, and the kid's going to be in the dark when it comes to what his enemy's up to, with the exception of perhaps the 17 outposts in the base. So how does the kid go about defending this, or not defending this? Because obviously he's done a relatively good job at defending here. The first thing to note he's going to have trouble with this hunt. He doesn't get to stay on this hunt. This outpost, once the upgrade comes through, he's going to have to vacate the area because he will be under pressure. Actually, they did have a range reduction. It's no longer 8 tiles, it is 7 tiles, so he still does have space to play, but we do see that next outpost beginning to come up. Not going to garrison this outpost, but does have the tower. The arrow slits coming through. Jeez Louise, action-packed game early on here. Outpost is trying its best to come up here. Demu, is he going to be able to find it? We'll find a couple of more villager losses, though. And it looks like if this outpost does get up, which it will, he guarantees that this hunt no longer going to be in play here for the kid. Now, keep in mind, he is playing the Abbasid dynasty, and keep in mind, on Hill and Dale, there is actually an extra 2 berry patches that spawn. So you get your starting berry patch, and on most maps, you get 2 additional berry... Oh, yeah, you got to be careful with these vills. Look at these vills. This is so cheeky. The villagers are trying to walk their way out over to this deer carcass here because they treat the deer carcass the same as the sheep carcass. So he's got to come here and kill a couple more sheep, but you got to keep your eye on this. I tell you what, you're going to come back to this, and all of a sudden, you're going to have 17 dead villagers just sitting out over on these deer carcass. You really got to watch it. Another thing to note is I would have loved to see him research textiles as well, just a little bit of extra resources or a little bit of extra health on those vills. So anyway, back to my point. On a standard map, you've got 3 berry patches each. Your starting berries and then 2 extra ones. One a little bit further away and then one a reasonable distance away. With this map, Hill and Dale, you do actually get another patch of berries. So you can see right here, we've got the first patch for Demu, and then you've got the second patch for Demu, and then the third patch for Demu, and then you've also got this 4th patch out here in the middle. So it does mean that there is a little bit more flexibility in his food resources in the event that he needs it. But interestingly, it looks like his berries are on the wrong side of the base. You can see Demu's got his nice and safely tucked down here. I guess he's realistically got it here. Nice deer hunt as well. But unfortunately, that's the side that Demu has come through and look to do a bit of damage. So now behind this, the question is going to be, what is Demu up to? And the answer, of course, is 2 town centers himself. Now, the kid has built himself a pretty substantial villager lead at this point, up by about 13 villagers. But remember, China will close the gap. They do have Song Dynasty. That means they're producing at the equivalent of 2.66 town centers compared to the Abbasid dynasty, which is producing at only 2 town centers. So that's important to note, and that is just simply because the Song Dynasty bonus reduces the time it takes to train a villager. It's only 15 seconds, so it means those villagers come out much faster. You have to pay, obviously, full price for them compared to the Abbasid Dynasty, who get a little discount if you do manage to upgrade. Obviously, there's not a whole lot of gold in the system at the moment for our Abbasid players, so it means that things aren't the best. And now the reaction has come in. The way to deal with this. It looks like he's opted for battering rams. He's gone for 2 of them. And this, to me, indicates that he wants to try and get Castle Age as quickly as he can. If you go for 1 battering ram here, you are going to work through this. The problem is it's going to take a long time, and you've got the resources to go for a 2nd battering ram. The question is going to be about whether you're actually going to get any value out of that 2nd battering ram, and I think you definitely do here when Castle Age is such a priority. As soon as this outpost goes down, I can guarantee you we're going to see about 10 to 12 villagers immediately walk over onto this gold vein. I don't even think he's going to try and hide it. We can ride on board with Demu and watch as he looks to try. But at the moment, my suspicion is that these villagers, they're going to maybe do a hand in or 2, and he's just going to march them straight over onto this gold vein. You can see that it should be pretty open, pretty safe for him. Actually, hold the horses. He's really sticking it to food and wood. Is he thinking about playing it in feudal? You'd be absolutely ludicrous to think about playing that to feudal. It's wild to me that he is yet to move those villagers over onto gold. Well, I guess there's a reason why he's top 30, and I'm you know, actually, this was something I wanted to talk to the devs about. And I'll be honest, at this point, I just kind of use my videos as a method to communicate with the devs in a non-direct manner. Because I know that some of the devs do watch, but write this one down for me, please. There needs to be something above Conqueror 3. Because right now, you can go into Quick Match. And look, I know for a lot of people, the difference between Conqueror 3 and Beastie Cutie isn't a lot, right? Like, you're going to get destroyed either way, right? If you're Diamond, if you're Platinum, you're gonna, it's a Conq 3, right? But for me, like, I've just come back and I got Conq 3 within, I think it was 16 games or something. And the thing I found is that I have trouble distinguishing. I don't know if the Smurf account I'm playing against is a Conqueror 3 at 1,600 points or a Conqueror 3 at 2,200 points. I have no idea. It's just a Conqueror 3. But the difference in skill level is so massive, I would say that, like, for me, that would be... If I was not a bronze, maybe like a gold player, that would be like facing against a Diamond 3 player. That's the equivalent of difference between those two skill levels. So I'd like to see something a little bit beyond that, just so at least you've got some kind of indication in the game as to, you know, how different it could be. Because right now, right, like these two players, these guys would be that level. I mean, you've literally got Demo who's sitting in the top. In fact, I think he's currently sitting at rank 1 on the ladder, and then you've got the kid who's sitting just barely outside the top 20. Like, these guys are insane when it comes to their ranking. But the thing is, they would have to lose like 500 rating to go down to Conqueror 2. So to me, it feels like maybe it's just that rank inflation has kind of taken over. So I feel like there almost needs to be extra levels for those players at the top to be able to go for it, at least to distinguish them between it. And it looks like a couple of vills going to go down here, at least the one going to go down here. So we've managed to clean up everything. Villagers have indeed been transitioned to gold. It took a little bit of time to do it, and we can see that the age up has come through now for Demo. We're right on board with him, as he's moved out plenty of villagers onto the map and has begun to do a little bit of a palace guard push, as you'd expect. And we can see that there are walls coming up in response to this. Military wing is going to be the way the kid looks to play it. The defense is solid. Keep in mind that +1 ranged armor is through here for Demo. We can see that +2 has just arrived. Wedge rivets coming through. He's picking up eco upgrades as well, and also picking up relics. Really nice focus on the economy. And now he's got to be super careful about fighting outside the walls. The kid falls back. We'll look to try and play a little bit more defensive, does the right thing, brings the camels up. These guys have got a bit more damage. But ideally, he needs to hold out until crossbows. I don't even know if he'll move into crossbows, though. He's got comp bows as an option here. It just kind of makes sense to play into comp bows. So we'll have to look out to see whether he goes for that. We're right on board with him as the age up does come through. He's got another minute to go. He's managed to get walls along that top side, so no risk of raids coming through from those palace guards. And we do see the third town center also being placed over on this western edge. Means he'll be able to maintain that villager lead. Remember, we talked earlier about the difference between the standard town center and the Chinese town center? Well, here you're able to get ahead because now your enemy's got 2.66 town centers, you've got 3. So you maintain that villager lead. He's up by about 10, 11 at the moment. Looks like the palisade wall may go down here. And you can see that it's going to be a struggle for him on the defense because the palace guards have got that extra bit of armor. It means that going up against that +1 attack means absolutely nothing. These archers are doing 1 damage a pop here, and he's going to try his best to defend in this situation. 18 seconds until that military wing is complete. Upon age up, he needs to make key units here. Number 1, ghoul arms to defend. Number 2, crossbows to help him defend. Number 3, knights to help him defend against these imminent raiders upon the villages. And we can already begin to see those wood villagers beginning to go down. He's getting chased around everywhere. The camels are about to pop out. There they are, the camel riders, trying to save the day. Keep in mind, he doesn't get to debuff any of these units here. They're all just palace guards. Even though they run as fast as cavalry, I assure you, they only have 2 legs. Camel's looking to try and kite it out. These guys have got a bit more damage than your average bear. You can see the 12+1 coming through there. So they do manage to cut through a lot of that armor. But he's going to need to kite. He's going to need to try his best up against those speedy little units. Villagers getting caught unawares now. Upgrades coming through. It looks like it's going to be boot camp. It looks like it's going to be balanced projectiles. Definitely an interesting direction. I didn't expect him to go into that. I thought we'd probably see veterancy, maybe even just crossbows, but never mind. He's got 6 crossbows on the field. I don't know where the heck they are. There they are. A couple underneath the TC at the moment. Maybe a little bit more to the top side. No, it doesn't look like a big farm transition coming through right now. That is a huge farm transition coming in right now. A lot of that food on the bottom side of the map just still sits there uncontested for the moment. The crossbow numbers beginning to build here. It looks like the kid will be able to stabilize, will be able to survive. We can see there were plenty of workers taken out during that fight. Demo now with the lead, 16 worker kills so far. And we'll be looking for more the longer this game goes on. Beginning to transition villagers out towards these berry patches in the center of the map. There's plenty of food out here if you've got map control. Demo's done a great job already at collecting these resources. We can see he's begun the farm transition at home, but just the single granary for now. Not looking to stick it to anything too big, but you want to start that transition early. Oh my lord, he's gone up to 3 TCs. Oh, I did not expect this. That would explain why that villager gap closed so quickly. Not to mention, obviously, the fact that the villagers did get taken out on the other side of the map, but that 3rd TC is unexpected for me. Normally, you know, I remember talking with Crackety. Crackety's a pretty good Chinese player. He said, don't ever add the 3rd TC for the Chinese. You just don't get value out of it. You're already making villagers so fast on 2 TCs. It just doesn't make sense to go for the 3rd TC. But we see Demu going for it here. And I do like this play because it means all of a sudden that the economic advantage that may have been held by his opponent has been denied. It's not there as an out anymore. You know, in this position, if the kid went Imperial Age and looked for, say, elite camels, elite camel riders, you're in a really tough spot because you're up against very strong units. He's got a huge economy behind that. You know, trade on this map as well. There's so many factors into it, but you're going to be losing a huge advantage there. But we do begin to see that landmark coming up in the middle of the map. Of course, it's going to be the Imperial Palace. Let's get ourselves a nice little view of this one coming in right now. There you get to go. It is the Yuan dynasty coming through right now for Demu. So, Yuan dynasty, instead of the Song dynasty. Song dynasty, we've talked about it before. It decreases the time it takes for your villagers to train. Yuan dynasty, you lose that bonus. You lose that bonus to the villagers, but you do gain increased movement speed. 1.58 movement speed. Wait for these guys to see a villager. Watch how high that goes up. From 1.58 movement speed, it goes up to like 1.9 movement speed or something ridiculous. I don't think you'll get any charges off here. Does look to come underneath the town center. A lot of crossbows back here, beginning to make their way through onto this TC. The defense is coming in right now from the kid. It's looking pretty solid as well. I'm confident in this defense from him. He'll be fine as long as he kites it out. But you can see the Yuan dynasty just doing such a great job of that. And I can't help but feel like he's kiting in the wrong direction. If you kite towards this direction, you're kiting towards the reinforcements of your enemies. And as a result, it means that you are going to begin losing more and more of those units. Continues kiting back, falling towards this wall. And you can see he wants to come down to this angle. And now the Ghulam's going to be joining the party. We hear another relic picked up. At the moment, that's Demu with 4 out of 5 relics. That 5th relic sits over on this east corner, safely away from the prying eyes of his opponent. Why do I hear these? Oh, he's putting them in pagodas. Oh, my lord, he's putting them in pagodas. All right, I was wondering, why do I hear these relics being picked up and put down? And ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your Age 3 Tithe Barn equivalent. In fact, if I remember correctly, these guys are actually better than Tithe Barns. Yeah, they are, by a mile. You get an extra 20 gold. You get an extra... In fact, you get an extra 20 of everything. And they're available without having to go to Imperial Age. I tell you what, this is a great deal right now. Now, it won't show on our UI. We don't get to see that there are relics here for Demu, but I can promise you there are relics in here. You can see right there. These things are absolutely busted. Like, I've been watching a fair few streams lately, and if a Chinese player just gets to 3 relics, it's really hard to contest them because instead of going to Imperial Age, they just go to Yuan Dynasty. They immediately put these down, and it's a massive boost to their economy, right? Like, you've got 150 stone coming through infinitely every single minute. That means in 6 minutes times, you've got yourself a free keep. That's pretty damn good. Not to mention that extra gold, extra wood, and extra food. They don't matter as much, but it is nice to have them, and you do notice them. And I think sometimes that your enemy can be deceived by the fact that you're in that castle age still, and you've got access to those relics. Because I don't think a lot of people don't give them enough credit. They are huge. Speaking of huge right now, look at this, Demu going for a little bit of a play over on the west side. In fact, we've got double Sacred Site next to each other. I didn't realize this. Look how close they are. Demu could 100% go for a Sacred Victory right here. You don't need a lot to solidify this position out over on the east. I mean, realistically, you throw a landmark down here, and you're absolutely fine. As long as he's got the big bazooka boys, he's absolutely okay. And then he can park the army up here. Maybe throw a couple of fire lances down on that south side, and he'll be fine. But now, speaking of the big bazooka boys, Spirit Way is going to be coming down in the base. Where is that Spirit Way? There it is. Spirit Way now coming up for Demu in the back of the base. Now under pressure from his opponent. The kid looking to push out. Take a look at the military difference between these two. Largely crossbows. Spearman also coming out as well. A really stable combo. Only got the hardened upgrade. Yet to even see veterancy. But the Palace Guard upgrades are on the way as well. I just realized we haven't even put it on income. We're 23 minutes through this game. I apologize in advance. All those YouTube comments. I know there's going to be so many people roasting me like, Drongo, please put it on income. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Gilberto. whatever the Brazilian, whatever the Turkish guy's name is, the Ottoman guy, the guy that always goes on about the Ottomans. His name's like Gilberto or something. All right, well, there we go. Sacred Site victory is currently being attempted. Demo under real pressure here as the keep comes down. The kid, is he looking to finish the game here in the Castle Age? Is up against the Imperial Age Chinese. We know that Battle Armor, or Battle Hardened, is coming through. There it is, Battle Hardened now on the way. That extra little bit of health, and I say a little bit, it's an extra 30 health. And at this point in the game, it's like an extra 20% for these units. On top of that, Elite Army Tactics on the way. That's another extra 20% health. And on top of that, an extra X amount of health for the Elite Palace Guards. He's got to make sure these villagers don't go down. And we can see they continue to fall. He's down to 3 villagers. Demu doing a great job of just picking out these villagers here. And unfortunately, not enough of a front line here for the kid. He gets absolutely ripped apart. Palace Guard upgrades comes through. They were definitely being supervised. They came out so quickly. These guys are fully upgraded, with the exception of their armor upgrades. But to be honest, you don't really look for armor upgrades on these, you know, in the Imperial Age as a highlight. The main focus is those elite upgrades, the battle hardened, together with the elite army tactics. That's what gives you your flexibility here. And now the kid has only got one option. He needs to get to Imperial Age. He needs to get to elite crossbows or hand cannoneers. But even then, you're going to have a tough time against this Chinese unit. This unit in the late game is insane. There was a reason why this was nerfed in the most recent patch. They increased the cost. This bad boy used to only cost 20 gold each. Well, and 100 food. And now they changed it. So it's a little bit more expensive. An extra 20, or it's an extra 5 gold. So up to 25. A single villager? Oh my lord. No, never mind. There's 8 villagers there. Keep comes up. All right. Oh, have a look at the difference in military between these two. Demo in trouble right now. I'm tempted to enter into the cinematic mode. I don't want to know the numbers. Just give me the action, baby. Let's get in there nice and deep like as the crossbows begin to go into the heartland, the farmland of the Chinese Empire. Keep now being rushed up. The Ghulam's looking to deny it. The kid has got Demu on the ropes right now. He is pushing him. I don't see any Randys out, but I tell you what, he is jumping from that top rope. Look at the Palace Guard numbers. So Palace Guard numbers beginning to push up high. Yo, Ghulams, get up here, guys. Guys, get up here. We need help at the front. What is going on? Chinese keep comes up. That'll give him a little bit of lasting food. Fire Lancers also joining the fray. He's going to need to get spears out ASAP to deal with these Fire Lancers. Bombards join the battle. Ghulam's looking to try and take it out. Keep in mind, it has come from the clock tower. It's going to have a little bit more health on it. Unfortunately, it looks like that bombard will stay alive for the kid as he continues to try and hold on in this defensive position. Town center's firing down, keeps firing down. Idle economy for Demu. He's got barely any villagers. I say barely any villagers working on food. Look at it. There's plenty of them, just not all of them. Continuing to push up now. The question is, what's the victory condition here? I don't see any siege behind this. There's the siege workshop coming now. He needs to begin those trebuchets, but still there's so many landmarks on this map. You're not going to get a landmark win here. And what was that? Hold on, something hit somewhere. The kid reached Imperial Age. He's managed to do it. He finds himself a way up, still with a huge advantage between these two players. And we're just going straight back in. I don't want to see the numbers. I don't care about them. Show me the action, baby. That's what I'm here for. The kid has got the #1 player on the ranked ladder right now on the ropes. He is pushing rank 1. This is absurd. I tell you what, this kid, it is impressive to see how far he comes. And honestly, I just want to say right now, it doesn't matter where you are. I don't care if you're bronze. I don't care if you're silver. I don't care if you're gold, plat, whatever your ranking is. The key here is perseverance. It's trying hard. It's critically assessing the information that you've got and actively attempting to get better. That is what we've seen from the kid. Now, granted, he's young. Granted, he's got great reflexes. But I tell you what, I love his attitude. That's the big thing that really gets me about this kid is his attitude. He just is always trying to get better. And that's what I love. Let's get back to the action. Let's take a look at some of these numbers right now and see where we're at as Demu looks to try and defend 131 villages apiece right here. You can see that Demu's got a couple of idols as to be expected on the defense. The bombard slowly working its way through here. No more stone in the bank for the kid. He's bought a couple. He's got himself 100 stone in the bank, but it looks like that first keep will fall. Culverin did go down. He's got a second one looking to come through. Palace guards nowhere to be seen, obliterated completely by these crossbows with their elite upgrades. Now, the main thing that he's going to need here are spears. The major threat that you've got are fire lancers. So going into like Ghulam and crossbows, It's not going to work because you've got nothing to stop the fire lances. You need to be going into spears in this situation. We do now see Spearman in queue. In the middle of the map, it looks like he's going to go for a huge keep drop. Look at the speed that he gets that keep down. Oh my lord, it's not even fair. It's not even fair. Look how quick that was. How many vills have you got here? 32 vills, not to mention the 10 that are on the ground. That is a quick keep. Now all of a sudden, you're going to have to bring it back to this. It's going to cut off reinforcements. He's going to have to rally out to this side and then rally around. He begins making production on the front line. Demu really on the line right now. Lost 20 villagers in the last minute. How many villagers have been taken out this game? More than 150. This is a ludicrous game. Culverin now looking to try and take out the Bombard. Bombard going to return fire. Culverin needs a repair. Otherwise, he's going to go down. And it looks like with one more shot, he does indeed go down. And the Bombard's sitting pretty back here. 3 of the clock towers. He tries to scrounge his way through. But unfortunately, you can see just how quickly he's able to overcome those numbers. And now the spears coming up the rear. Haven't got their upgrade to veterancy yet. Go faster, goddammit. Go faster. 22 seconds. It's not fast enough. That's what she said. So, sorry. Anyway, oh my lord, I gotta take a breath right here. I got a drink to my right, but I don't have time for it. It doesn't look like the kid's gonna have time to breathe. Where did this come from? All of a sudden, the fire lances, I tell you where it came from. The spears, the lack thereof. The fire lances have just thinned out this number of crossbows, and all of a sudden, you've just got things going from bad to worse, not to mention you've got in the middle of the map this keep, which has just managed to take out reinforcements at the perfect time. Villagers should be able to repair up this keep if he wants to, but he's just completely lost the front now. The kid's made it to Imperial Age. He's still got a chance at victory here. The trade post is up. He can look to put down markets on this south side. Did he go for the trade wing? He didn't go for the trade wing. He went culture wing. Culture wing in 2023. You can't be going culture wing in Imperial Age. No, not the kid. Come on, the kid. Upgrades are starting to come through, though. We can see that he's managed to get these elite upgrades on plenty of units. The crossbowman obviously got it. I think he's got it on the ghoul. No, he hasn't even got it on the ghoul arms yet. He's really struck. Oh my lord, I just realized. Look at the gold control for the kid. He's lost everything. There's no gold anywhere for him. Where does he even... He's got... Oh, it's over. He's got no gold. He's got no gold. The kid wants to build a mining camp in the middle. He can't. He wants to build a mining camp here. Well, good luck to him. There's an outpost. The kid didn't focus gold control. And with no gold control... it means you can't make units that cost gold, which is naturally what you would expect for a person who doesn't have gold. And not to mention there's a sacred victory approaching for the last 8 minutes. Oh my lord. Okay, we got upgrades beginning to come through. Reload drills now for Demu. And Fire Lance is looking to clean up this villagers. I think this is a good game. He doesn't have gold. He can't get gold. There's no gold down here. There's no gold over here. The keep continues to come up. How does he possibly take sacred sites? And that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. The game gets called. Demu victorious in a beautiful defense against the kid. Unable to take the crown today. Fellas, make sure you go check out these two creators. I'm going to leave links in the description to where you can watch them both live. And make sure you pre-order the Sultan's Ascend. It is going to be absolutely insane.